This tutorial is by Cooper Collier, lead programmer with WatersWebWorks.com. Please visit our TeamDesk expert listing if you need assistance or have any questions, and we'll be happy to help.
We've received the email. This is what it looks like, and you can see the things. And we're going to pretend that I am the client, so I'm going to review the document for signing. And as we see, here's our document. It came up perfectly, and it has the signature, the name that we put in there, the date, and our signature, which we can sign by drawing our name, A-M-E. Yes, electronic signatures are weird, but they're legal, and we finalize it. I agree and save. That's what the client would do when they sign. So it is signed, it says it's a success, etc. So now we wait a bit, and I did do the waiting, and we come over to our mail, and we look at changed, and here is our mail. Once we view the mail, we can see that it has come in properly. This is good. Good. We have a signed document log and a signed document PDF that we need to deal with. And right now, there are problems with this because we have no way to put this into the sign files. And we need to make one change, and that's the important change that I will show you how to make it possible to put this document into sign files, and then we'll have it. So the problem we have is we don't have a way to get this email identified with the specific account to link it correctly. So we need to make a few changes. What we're going to use to identify the email is the tags. And as you see in the tags column in the email, we do not have any tags in there right now. First, we want to go in and so we have right now, as I showed you a second ago, we do have two files we have to deal with. So let's go look at the signed files table. I only have a place for one file to go in. So let's change that real quick. We're going to go to the signed files because what we really need is two file attachments. So we're going to make another one called sign file 2. Make that a file attachment as well. So that's how we're going to capture the files. We also need to, that's all fine. Okay, now the reason I name these this way is when we go and look at our email again, I'm jumping back and forth, we get attachment 1 is the log and attachment 2 is the actual file. We need the log because that has the proof of the authenticity of the signed file. I am not certain, I do not have a large enough sample set, and I have no guarantee that they're going to come in this order all the time. So I do not know attachment 1 is always going to be the log, and attachment 2 is always going to be the actual file. So we're just not going to worry about that for our purposes here. Now, what we need to do is insert tags into our email stream so when it comes back, we know that this signed document belongs to such and such account. So we're going to go into setup again and go to accounts, and we're going to go to our action where we send the sign request, and we're going to edit that. And this is the secret one right here, the one that it's coming back from. Now tags, we can insert our they're called email tags, and on any email address that'll work on your own actually, you could put a plus at anything you want after it. So in fact, I want to put a plus SR. This is my technique for using tags. So what I'm doing here is I will go and use the email address, then I'll put a plus, then I'll put a 2 or 3, let's make it even bigger. We're going to call it sign. So that stands for SignRequest. That will either be the table name of the table I'm working with, or what the function is of the returning email. Because if you start using emails to insert data, you're going to want to identify what you're inserting, and that's what my first one does. So now I know that the first tag says that it's a SignRequest. Then what I want to do is add another plus. Okay. At this point, what I really need is the ID of the record from the accounts that I'm using. So to do that, we're going to insert that inside of here. So I'm going to put quotes around those two, and I'm going to put an ampersand right here, and I'm just simply going to go boom, percentage ID, like this, there, and type that on, there, percentage, like that. And then one more ampersand. So when that's done, if I type that all correctly, it is going to actually inject, can't have spaces in there, I don't believe. It is going to make it, the email address is going to be 70813 plus the word sign plus the ID number of the account, and then at this. Let's see if that will save. There's an error there, and that's going to be a Y. Expected curly bracket. I don't know why. Instead of me thinking here, I'm going to pause this. Okay, this is what I did wrong. We don't need the ampersand or that, and we don't need those. There we go. Because this is a JSON code block, we don't need to use ampersands. This is kind of like XHTML. It will just put the text where it is, and inside these brackets it'll insert the ID. So that should save. There we go. Now, with that in mind, what we're going to do now is go to the mailbox. And we're going to make a new workflow trigger. And we're going to make a record change trigger. And we're going to make it say sign return emails active when anything is added, and only records that have a certain thing. We want to have tags. Looking for tags. There's tags, and the tags need to contain other, and they need to contain sign. I make that a capital S. I think I left it small. Sign. There. Now, whenever one of these comes in and the tags section contains the word sign, then it's going to process this. Then our next action is where we inject the files. So we are going to do a new record update. Nope, new record create. New record create. Next. Okay. Copy. files to table, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to send that to signed files. And here's where we make assignments. So we want the account, and that count is going to get the second tag. So we're going to do part tags, comma, let's see, yeah, we want tag 2 with delimiter plus. Let's see, did I do that right? I'm looking at the part command. Yes. So we're looking at the part is text, position, we want the second one, and the delimiter is a 2. Perfect. So that's going to give us the ID because it's the second tag, and we'll look at that once we get a test. And then we simply want to get signed file, which will be attachment 1, and the next one is going to be signed file 2, attachment 2. All right, now when one of these files comes in, it should trigger this if we did everything right, and it should make a new record attaching it to the correct account and putting the 2 signed files. So we're going to do a test. So I'm going to go over here and make a look at this one here, and I am going to send another signature request, and just like that, and I'm going to run through the test and everything and come back once I've done all the steps as a customer. Okay, I went ahead and did the test. I signed the document and it automatically came back in, and if you can see now, this is the document that I signed, the new one, and now it has tags right here in the tag things, and it has tag 1. That's why we use the part command, and tag 2 is right here. And if we put more tags, which we can do, we can extend quite a few tags. But for this purpose, all we need to do is 2. But did it work? If we go and look here under our accounts and view, yes, it did. Now it automatically put our document right here. What it did is we view this, it took the tag 2 and used it to set the account, which is the very ID 1, and then it put the files in here. Boom, boom, they're there. That's all there is to it. So in review, if we go over here and look, the important part was getting this email correctly. You also are going to want to look at some of the other things by comparing, all these little commands, what they do, and they're explained in the SignRequest API. So that is how we use a template. Now, keep in mind, the one thing I was going to explain is sometimes you're going to want to do the equivalent of where you have set up a document in TeamDesk. Let's say you did this. You went to settings and you're in accounts, and you went and made a document and you generated the template and you created a document. And normally what you would do is then have a button that prints the document and takes the data out of TeamDesk and makes a nice print for you. And people asked, or the first question I had gotten, not very many people because we've only used this one account, is how to make that document get a signing. What you do is you don't use that document like that. You make the same setup, okay? But what you do is when you set up your document in SignRequest, wherever you want, you pull your template, just like you did before, to set up from TeamDesk, but instead of making a TeamDesk template, you put it in here as a PDF, and then you put your fields in here, text fields, and then here you make column names for whatever you want, like city. I don't know. We'll just make them city. And then what you do is in your setup, you keep adding them right here. You would just put I want to do an edit here. You can put, I don't know how many, as many as you want, I suppose. So you would just copy that, and then you put a comma, and put another one, and then this one becomes city, and then you would put the equivalent column like city, which doesn't exist, but from your TeamDesk column, and then it will insert them there. So it works the same way as TeamDesk's printing to document to get a PDF, except you're just going to do it this way, going through SignRequest, and it'll work fairly well.